So here, again, this image, this is my image. When I took this image, I did it in a raw file format, and then I was able to export it into a JPEG and a TIFF file. Here you can see how big each file actually is. So with our JPEG, it's our lossy compressed file. I have 13.5 megabytes. My TIFF is lossless and uncompressed and is significantly bigger. It is 142.6 megabytes. And then I have my raw file, the one that I had started off with. Lossless, uncompressed. We want it because it just maintains all of the quality and information from our exposure. And it is 19.4 megabytes. One thing you're going to notice is thinking about the order of operations, we start off with raw files. But when we export our raw file to a TIFF, the TIFF is significantly larger than the raw. It doesn't make sense thinking about that order of operations. So why are TIFF files larger than raw files? And it's because the TIFF represents the real size of the image, not the actual raw file itself. TIFF files are usable images, whereas a raw file is not a usable image. And so all of this starts when we deal with our image capture. And so between these two files, we are dealing with the amount of pixel information within them. A pixel in general is referring to the smallest unit of a digital image captured by a camera sensor. Each pixel represents a specific color and brightness value, which form the photograph. The number of pixels vary as far as talking about camera sensor, talking about resolution and detail of the camera, and then also how we export and compress into different files. So TIFF and RAW file formats represent pixel data in completely different ways, which is why they have different file sizes. When we set our cameras to the raw file format, it is not a normal file format. When we deal with collecting information and editing it, we have this idea of channels within our images. So with our camera sensor, we deal with one channel and it only captures black and white information, but every pixel on our camera sensor is covered by a color filter, it either being red, green, or blue, because those are the primary colors of light. And then once we bring in that raw file into an editing software, that is when we start converting all of our color information. The TIFF file, the reason why that is so large is because instead of it dealing with one channel, it deals with 3 channels. And what I mean by 3 channels is actually the red, green, and blue primary colors of light. When you edit photographs in any sort of editing software, you will always deal with those channels. And so, because we are going from one channel that was just black and white information that had a little filter over it. We now have added two more channels, which is allowing the color information to come about, and it is uncompressed. So once you start editing your photographs, and depending upon the intricacies of your edits, talking about the amount of pixel information, your TIFF files are going to become very, very large. A simple way to think about this is thinking about baking. If you are going to make a cake, when you get all of the ingredients for your cake, you are dealing with the raw material of each of those ingredients. They haven't been combined yet. It isn't a cake. You aren't able to do anything with them right now. Once you've combined all of your ingredients together for your cake, they are literally going to bake together and form your cake, your particular flavor profile, talking about like if you are making a dense cake, a little bit lighter cake, things of all of that nature. So it's everything coming together. And then physically thinking about what the cake raw ingredients look like when they haven't been mixed together yet in comparison to the actual cake. The actual cake is much larger, much more substantial, with again, that flavor profile versus the ingredients by themselves. Exact same idea as raw file formats versus TIFFs. That's why raw is so small in comparison to the TIFF, because it's just raw data that you haven't done anything with yet. The TIFF is getting the color, getting the treatment you want from your photograph, and baking it all together to produce the final product that you want.